What's going on, guys? My name's Josh, and just in time for Halloween, we got a new Craft movie. Before we get started, if you could hit the subscribe button and please like this video. And you better watch out because it's time to get this review started. Let's go. The Craft Legacy is a 2020 supernatural horror film and is now available on video on demand. This movie is directed by Zoe Lister-Jones, and the film stars Callie Spaney as Lily, Zoe Luna as Lourdes, Gideon Eldon as Frankie, Lovey Simone as Tabby, and David Duchovny as Adam. And the plot of this movie is, in Blumhouse continuation of the cult hit The Craft, an electric foursome of inspiring teenage witches get more than they bargained for as they lean into their newfound powers. So going into The Craft Legacy, I was so excited. I love the original The Craft movie. I loved everything about the original movie. It's definitely one of those movies I watch every year. I love the cast. I love, the storyline. I love all the witchcraft in the movies. Overall, it's just a really good movie, and it has a huge cult following as well, especially during Halloween time. So going into this new movie, I was definitely really excited. I know they announced the new movie a couple years ago, and I never heard anything about it, so I was definitely surprised when I heard it was being released on video on demand. And I knew this movie is going to feature a brand new cast, so I did go into this movie with low expectations, and I gotta say, I did enjoy it. I definitely think there's definitely a lot of room for improvement. It definitely doesn't compare to the original, but like I said, I did enjoy it, and I definitely see potential in this movie and in future sequels. So let's get into what I liked about this movie. I would say one of the biggest strengths of this movie is going to be the cast. I feel like the actresses all did a really good job as far as acting, and I think all the characters are really likable, and I love that in this movie, it shows the Coven as a sisterhood, and it's all about them supporting one another, and it's definitely refreshing to see compared to, while I do like the original movie was more about them competing with each other. There's definitely jealousy involved, and it was less of a coven, where this movie, this group is a coven, and it's an actual sisterhood, and it was cool to watch. Also, I gotta say, I like how, progressive this movie is as well. One of the characters, we have a transgender character as one of the main girls, and I love that. I think it's awesome that how the character was in the movie and just so accepted by the rest of the coven, and they just show that character in such a positive light, and the characters treat it as normal, which I think is awesome, because we should see more, gay people, transgender people. We should see them in movies, and it's nice to see them portrayed as normal because, they are normal. So I thought that was really refreshing as well. And then I also liked there was one of the characters was bisexual, and just them talking about their experiences and struggles being bisexual. I thought that was really cool as well, and just really, it was a cool scene. So I really like how progressive the movie is. Now, also, I got to give it up to the magic. I feel like there were some really cool magic scenes in this movie as well, and that's part of the fun of the Craft movie, is seeing really cool magic scenes. Also, I enjoyed some of the Easter eggs and references to the original movie. I would say there's a couple little things, like you hear the word Menno, and it was such a big part of the original movie, so just even hearing that name, I was like, wow, it was just really cool. So I feel like there's little Easter eggs here and there for those original fans. And I think my biggest thing, though, that I probably like the most is probably the last minute of the movie. The way it ends definitely left me wanting more, and I'm invested now. I definitely want more sequels, and I'm just, like I said, really invested in this movie now, and it seems like the way Blumhouse is going is they're going to try to turn these movies into a new franchise, and I'm totally here for it. And I definitely think, these movies can be really successful. I do think they need to make some improvements, and I'm going to get into that in just a second. But I think with those improvements, these movies can be just as good as the original. So let's get into what I didn't like about this movie. So what didn't I like about this movie? One, the biggest critique I have of this movie is there's not enough character development. Now I would say the main character, Lily, we get to spend a lot of time with her. We get to really know her. So I think they did a good job with Lily. But the rest of the coven, we don't get to know that well. And I think that really hurt the movie. Especially, we had four different girls. And I didn't really know the other three. And I definitely think, like I said, it hurt the movie. And I think the original movie did so good because the original movie, you saw 4 different girls and you really got to learn about each of the girls, what their problems were. And then the movie was all about learning what their problems are and then them using magic to try to solve their problems. So you definitely felt it was a really personal connection with those original girls, and you got to see them use magic to try to fix it and to see kind of how it goes wrong and what happens when they get what they want. Do they become nice people or do they become awful people? And I think the first movie did such a good job exploring that, where this movie, it doesn't do that at all. You get to know, the main girl, but then the 3 other girls, you don't really get to know them at all. And I just think that overall kind of hurt the movie. I would have loved to know the characters a lot better. I wish they would have all got their own separate little wishes or something they would use the magic for. I think that would have helped the movie. Also, I gotta say, the movie itself too was just a little bit. They just played it too safe, especially the witches. Like, they're in a group of witches, and the coven themselves are way too safe. So they go by the rules a little bit too much. I think if they were to be a little bit more reckless, that could have been a little bit more fun to watch. It just kind of, all the 4 characters were all kind of like goody two-shoes in a way. Like, they're all a very safe coven. And you look at the original movie, Sarah, she was a good witch. And everyone else kind of got corrupted and they got out of control with the magic. And it was pretty much, soon as it went south, they weren't quitting using magic. They were going to continue using magic no matter what. And they turned on Sarah. Where this movie, I feel like soon as it goes a little bit south, they are all ready to quit magic and bind each other's powers. And nothing really happened too much. And just even some of the spells they did were all really safe. Like, I know one of the characters that was kind of a jerk, they did a spell to make him nice and sensitive. Like, that was cool to see, but like, it just was so safe. I don't know. Like, I just wish this movie would have took a little bit more risks. It was just a little bit too PG for me. And I feel like the original movie it was edgy, it was dark. And I think, that's why people really did enjoy that movie a lot. Where this movie just plays it really, really safe. And I think it definitely needed to take some risks. And as far as the magic goes, the magic itself was okay. But like I said, compared to the original, it definitely doesn't compare to the original. The original one just did such a better job of, just the storyline. The spells were a lot better. And just overall, it just was a darker movie, but in a way better movie. So overall, though, like I said, I did enjoy this movie, and I do think it's okay. It's okay. It's definitely not as good as the original, but I do think people will enjoy it. I enjoyed it, but this leaves me wanting so much more because the way this movie ends, you definitely are waiting for more sequels, and it definitely left me with more answers, or not more answers, more questions that I want answers for. So I'm hopeful that we're going to get another sequel after this. But I think going forward, if they want this movie to be successful, we got to have some character development. We got to know these girls a lot more. And this movie does have to take some risk. I think it definitely, can't be so PG. It needs to take some risk. It needs to be a little bit darker. But then, like I said, overall though, I'm invested now, and I definitely want to see, what happens in the future. As far as this movie, as far as recommending it, I would say if you're a huge fan of the craft, and then I would say give it, you could definitely watch it. If this is something you're on the fence about, I would say wait for this movie to come out on digital or something where you can watch it on a stream. Like, I'm sure eventually it'll be on some kind of streaming platform. You might want to wait to watch it then. It's nothing from this movie that you have. I would say if you want to see the craft, but you don't want to pay the price, to just go watch the original movie. I would say you'll have a better time with that. And then wait till it comes on streaming for free. But I think the movie the fans want is coming. It's just going to be the next sequel. That's the movie we're all going to want. But this movie, like I said, was okay. So that is my review on The Craft Legacy. Did you guys see The Craft Legacy? And if so, what did you think? Also, or did you watch the original movie? That's one thing I should have opened up with. If you have not seen the original Craft, please go stop this video right now and go watch that. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you.